Morning, everybody. Welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. I just before we get going and talking to Patty here, I just wanted to let everybody know it is Mental Wellness Week. I am wearing a Not Alone shirt. It's okay not to be okay. It's from Ty Smith, who is a survivor of the Humboldt Broncos crash. It's a great story. We're always out there trying to support everybody. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. So if you need help, reach out. There's great people out there, whether it be Patty or anybody else that would be more than willing to talk to you and sit down. So please take that first step if you're looking for help or need help, and reach out to somebody. I would also like to thank Simply Delivery for their support in this podcast. They are an Alberta-owned business expanding across the province. If you need something delivered, download their app, visit their website, which is in the comments section, or go to simply.delivery. Again, I am excited, and Patty and I have been trying to hook up for a while here and have this discussion, and she's the founder of MillernetHR and Business Solutions. Patty, how are you today?
Living the dream, Jade. How are you?
Same thing. Always living a dream. Always smiling. Always living a dream. It's sunny outside. I'm going golfing this afternoon with
Awesome.
our oldest daughter. So you got to get out there and have some fun, as we're talking about, and all the negativity. We got to enjoy things a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for having me on board. I'm thrilled to be here and love what you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate it. I know we were hoping to get on. I know you support the community so much, and I think we had you originally scheduled in earlier on, probably 6 weeks ago or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we were able to kind of sketch you in here, and what I would like to do is give a brief introduction and have you start sharing your knowledge.
Sure.
Perfect. So Patty has been a successful HR professional for 20 years. She was the first sole HR for a longstanding engineering firm with 260 employees and 6 branches, including 2 in the U.S. for 5 years. For the last 11 years, Patty has been working simultaneously with many clients. Humbly and proudly, her experience is deep and knowledgeable. The one thing I loved when I saw her introduction email was, people don't call me for the easy situations. They call me for the interesting situations. And that is a great quote, and I loved it. So I guess moving in, you've helped obviously large companies. Now you're working with businesses and being a consultant with them. And how has kind of that made the evolution to really getting in and helping businesses more than just the HR where you started your career?
I love that question, and I feel HR sometimes gets a bad rap, where HR is either they're doing the recruiting and they don't get involved in the business operations, or they're involved in the business operations and don't get involved in the recruiting. And ironically, I think that you need to have those two hands shake better, and I think that that's really, really important. So for me, my evolutions, since I've been consulting, and it was interesting when I was leaving Hin's Automation, which was acquired by Rockwell being a global firm. I was there for a year and a half as the merger was taking over, and they said, Patty, you either move to Milwaukee, where our HR is located, or unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go if you don't want to relocate. So no, I guess I'm staying in Calgary. And at that time, I was 10 years into human resources, 5 years as an HR manager. I just acquired my professional designation, my chartered chartered professional human resources, CPHR, and I thought that I had the right to put out my shingle. So I put out 15 emails of introduction of my business model. I thought, I saw how I was so impactful at this engineering firm that never had HR before, and all the different things that I changed: the performance management, the cohesiveness of the team, improving projects, operations. There's just so many things that I had a chance to positively impact. And I thought, there has to be businesses that need this as well, but perhaps not always full time. So after my 15 emails, I got 5 clients in 1 week, and I've never looked back. So it was instant on, and I love it. And so what clients are really appreciating from me is, because my experience, humbly and proudly, is deep and knowledgeable, I can come in and handle any interesting thing that a business is going through. And oh my gosh, lots of interesting things I have addressed. So I find that HR, at least for me, is I'm getting more into the operations. I like to look at where companies make their money, where they maybe lose time, and where they, where efficiencies aren't there, and where they might be wasting money, because it's not always about getting the new business. And I've had some really great success that way.
That's such a valid point, because any clients or any people that we work with, it starts with a financial analysis, and it's amazing. I always say most people have that Ronco set it and forget it budget lines, or like, well, until someone comes in and says, well, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And before you know it, you're saving them X amount of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. A great success story of recent was a rock crushing manufacturer in the mining industry. So they manufacture massive equipment for crushing rocks in the mining industry. And I don't know why, but their culture was exceptionally abusive toward the company, meaning the time. Yes, it's going to say your hair's a bit out of place there, Jade.
Yeah.
And so they would work for their 8 hours, and then all of a sudden everybody got very busy from 8+ hours. So I did an audit of their timesheets, and it was becoming very, very clear the abuse was huge on, and they were basically stealing time and a half. So I rolled out a bank time policy. I made it mandated that they can only work bank time or overtime if they have prior approval from their supervisor. And I'm saving them a whopping $100,000 a month in salaries.
Wow.
And that's a team
amazing.
of only 40 people. So there were some people had 300% of their income was going towards, was by the abuse of time and a half. So that's one example. Another example was a law firm, a small team of only 12, and they had a tremendous amount, again, of abuse on the sick time, and foolishly they did pay for 20 sick days, and there were 2 people on this small team that were at 40 and 42 paid sick days, and it was really causing havoc on the company. So I changed things on that area as well. So I find in business, whether it's operations or you're a leader or you're HR, there's 3 P's that I have kind of come to realize. There's process or lack thereof, policy or lack thereof, and people. And when it comes to people, it's either attitude or aptitude. So attitude, they don't know, or attitude, they don't care, right? So those are things that really come into play. So it's different conversations that you would have. And leaders are working with people, and HR is working with people. So I'm really here to help leaders thrive and gallop too.
People always say, people are the heartbeat of every company. And I talk about that all the time, but the hardest thing to find, for even startups and that is obviously money. So the way you spend money and the way you invest that money is so important. So to hear stories like this, even as a company, as a startup, can get to that point saying, oh my goodness, we can lose control if we don't understand what we're doing. So how does how does your practice kind of go about, finding that, or how do you differ from other firms or other business consultants?
Yeah, great question. So there's some very good consultants in Calgary, and that I call my peers. But what I feel gives me my competitive edge over them is the extensive amount of diversity that I've been exposed to, because I am, dealing with so many heavy, emotionally charged situations. When I talk with other HR directors, a lot of times our war stories, I have more war stories. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a good thing, because that means it's experience. And I find that one activity that has always been exceptionally illuminating every single time, it's never been a bad thing, is I call it a pulse review. So it's the exact opposite of an exit interview that not enough companies do. Only 10% of companies do exit interviews. And I want to find out with the people that are currently there, what's working, what's not. Do you have all the tools for success? Do you get timely feedback? How do you know when you're successful? Do you have any things that stress you out? And then I start to capture patterns. And when I start to get those patterns, then that goes into my master synopsis. And it has been a game changer for many, many clients clients, where it takes courage to let the mirror come back on you for the leadership team and to find out what's working and what's not in the business. But why wait until your people are leaving? Why not find out what's working and what's maybe not and what needs to stop? And then you can improve the dynamics right there. So it's always been exceptionally powerful.
No, absolutely. So obviously we thought we would be finished with COVID by now, and here we are getting punched in the face again. So how, I guess, what has or what have you seen with some clients out there? They don't have to be clients, or people you talk to in your network. What have they done, from a strategy standpoint to get through, or still continue to get through what we're going?
Yeah, I think the big one is company culture, Jade, and I think that is still we still need to let the dust settle on that one. We're seeing all over the internet that people love the idea of working from home. There's some adamant saying, I'm never going into the office, and there's people going, get me back in the office, right? And so I think there's going to be a hybrid of that, but we're missing people, we're missing our family, we're missing our friends. But it's the opportunity to build rapport and trust with your teammates is when you have a chance to have that small talk with them, right? When you have prior to a meeting, you're at the, getting a coffee, how was the weekend, things like that. So company culture is an evolving, and it's a living energy, right? And so when you have people that are either helping improve your company culture or not, then that is where people are now being isolated in the working from home environments. So there has to be a little bit of that rapport building, and people want to be by people, and you can get the essence from them far better than you can on a Zoom call.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
When we talk, one of the lines I use, and I've been a 24-year work from home guy, so everybody's kind of come into my world, but it wasn't easy at the beginning for me on what I had to do, what I've got set up, how I work now. It's even now during COVID, it's struggle. I can't do the things I like, go swimming, playing squash. And it is difficult. And I truly believe, work is a thing you do, not a place you go. And everybody I talk to say there's probably going to be a 40 back to work, 30 hybrid, 30, stay from home. So I think it'll be a interesting switch in philosophy, in how we do business. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of empty office space in this city. How do you think culture is going to change, or how can we change the culture when we have a mishmash of all of this remote work plans?
Communication. Talk to your people. When you think you're done talking to your people, talk to your people some more. And it's got to come from the top down, right? If you're a leader, you cannot hide behind, your keyboard. You have to push your comfort zone. And there are a lot of leaders that don't necessarily proactively go out. They'll be happy to receive you, but they don't proactively go out there. So that's a lot of the coaching I've been doing of late, is how to be front and center, build that psychological safety, which is really, really important in companies. When you have psychological safety, people are not afraid to speak up without fear of retribution or judgment. And when people are comfortable to speak up, then profits rise. It goes hand in hand. So that's where leaders really need to communicate more and more. How you doing? Have some rapport building, some socialization aspects to their conversation versus supervisor report.
Yeah, I've really seen the we'll call it the evolution in the last year of how companies thought that they would be not productive, less profitable, moving forward, and it's been the opposite. when I would go into the office, and we would have an office here in Calgary back in the day, I would probably, again, it's me, and I had something separated, but I got more done at home than I would do in an office. I knew I had a schedule. I knew how to work things. I knew how to do it. When my wife had to come home, it was an absolute struggle, and their company didn't handle it very well, and she struggled. And there was in the office, you don't have 9 hours of straight meetings or Zoom meetings, and it's a different philosophy when you're sitting in this 2-inch by 2-inch screen rather than sitting around the coffee cooler, talking to somebody or walking over to the office there, leaning on the doorway and discussing a problem. So I really think the mentality is changing in the way from that leadership. Do you see that?
I do, and actually, I'm doing a loose poll. I talk with clients and prospects and other companies, and I say, now that you've got some time, because hindsight is always so clear, is are you seeing people that were your star employees or your really strong performers? Are they performing just as good, or have they lost some of their mojo working from the home office? And for the most part, people are saying it's been good. People know that this is a pandemic and it's not time to take advantage of your employer. And the fact that you're employed, you should be very grateful, right? Considering how difficult things are. But I have learned that there are some people that just, if they're quiet, they actually get even more quieter in their home office. So they need to push their comfort zone and reach out more to their colleagues. And if there was a silo between two floors, for crying out loud, there's more silos now, because you can't just go upstairs or downstairs to see your peers. So it's, I think it's mindfulness on everybody's part, including employees, to be able to advocate for themselves, for their concerns or situation, for the business. And what I mean by advocate, hey, I think we should do this, or that we're having some challenges with that. My point is communication is critical with all of that.
No, communication is so important at every single level. And you're so right. It has to be from the top down. So I guess kind of moving forward here, and I don't know when we're going to come out of COVID, hopefully soon. What type of, let's talk maybe policy changes, or have there been really any HR changes when it comes to that will affect, how companies are doing business, during COVID? And do you think those will stay the same post-COVID?
What I'm seeing right now is what employer rights do they have to ask their employees to come back to work? So it's a privilege to work from home. It is not a right to work from home. And I think employees need to appreciate that. So if an employer is really pushing for coming back to the office, and this is something that they're doing everything safe. So that's another thing is that's some talk that's happening, and in Canada it's still going to be a little bit more talk about it. But are you going to be mandated to be vaccinated and to show that, to be able to come healthy into the office space? I think that might be something that is coming our way, which I actually find a little bit scary, but I understand. So it's really it's about the safety, and any employee has a right to refuse unsafe work. But that doesn't, but that's like if you're seeing somebody, mixing chemicals or something, and you're right there and you could go back, like just saying, I don't know if I'm going to catch COVID, even after all the precautions have been taken by that employer, they still have a right to ask that employee to come back to work. So those are some of the big things I feel are going to happen.
Yeah, that's you never really think about that, right? It's I like that statement, as it's a privilege to work from home, and I know it's there's so many distractions at home, and I'm not talking TV or Netflix and things along those lines. It's more along the lines is that it's very hard to be productive when you're sitting at a kitchen table. It's very hard to turn off work when your laptop might be at the kitchen table. If you don't have the right setup at home, it can make work extremely stressful. And I think that's some things companies weren't ready for. And I think it also played into part of, the struggles that Kathy had when she came home, office enclosed in the basement.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
Well, you're in my desk. You're at my office here. So there's my frog.
My frog.
They say you have to add something a little funny behind there.
Absolutely.
But I have a beautiful view, and I get to see my birds and my squirrels, and so You got to work with that, right? But I think,
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that my kids are older, and I couldn't imagine. I really feel for the parents right now with the school, everybody being pushed from home, because I would not be a good at-home teacher. So I'm really grateful that that did not impact me that way. So I applaud all those amazing families and parents who are doing as best they can, considering. So, yeah. I have that expression, and that's why we drink. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah.
I know I can say that we're lucky enough. I mean, our oldest daughter's 14. She's been at home for a while. And now our youngest daughter's in grade 5. She's coming home. But we're lucky enough that we have a setup in their room where they have a spot, they have a desk, a lot of people don't have that. And I agree with you. It's stressful. It can be extremely difficult if it's not, even today. Ray and I are going golfing at 1 o'clock. It's like, you know what? Screw school. I just phoned in, lied, and said, she's got an appointment. Technically does. I guess the tea time is an appointment.
She's on a course. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, I should have said that. She's got a course.
That's what you should have said. She's on a course.
But I also think that, being stuck in your room for 8 hours isn't good either. So I was like, here we go. I did it during the thing, pulled them out, went skiing.
If you were taking her skiing, you would say she's at a summit.
Exactly, at a summit, and we did do the skiing. So I mean, there is a little bit of fear that I have with them being kind of stuck in a room and doing homework and not being around and getting outside and we've gone to the park and done things like that. So from a parent side, I mean, I'm lucky enough where I have a schedule where I can do this. A lot of them don't, and I think that just adds to the stresses of working from home, which makes it extremely difficult.
And getting outside. Oh my gosh. I came back from a run and I said to my sons, I go, you know what? And they go, what? I said, I saw kids playing outside. They go, that's crazy. Like just to get a sunbeam on you, right? Like to go for a run and, to take that time and out of your day. I don't know why we feel so guilty that we have to eat at our desk for lunch. In fact,
I hate that.
I know. Just yesterday, I said, I'm not going to take this to my desk. I'm going to eat, at the breakfast bar, and I put on a YouTube, just so I can have that break. And otherwise, I'm always eating at my desk, and I find I can be here till 6, 7 o'clock at night, and it just you go, go, go. So we really need to have that mindfulness on self-care. And even complimenting your shirt, Jade, right? Self-care. So you don't feel like you're on that wheel that you can't get off of, right? So we need to take care of ourselves. And for me, that's getting outside, going for a hike or for a walk or for a run or something like that. And, the Japanese call it nature bathing. So we need to nature bathe. It's actually proven that your hormones and stress hormones will actually go down when you are outside. So I'm going to be planting my vegetable garden, in the near future, and put a tarp over it, and just enjoy those little things grow, and you actually start to get affection of these plants that you grow from scratch. So it's interesting that way. But
no, I agree.
Yeah, I find HR is certainly tapped out right now. I think the economy, at least in Calgary, is going. That fierce grip that has been on the businesses for so long, I think, is starting to release. And the reason I'm saying that is I've never seen more HR postings ever. Like it's if I wanted to go work full time somewhere, I know I could, but I just love my consulting so much. So that to me is an indication that companies are getting ready to take action and move forward with hiring and things to that effect. So so I'm one thing I really like doing is the hiring. I've hired over 1,400 people with a 94% retention rate in over 20 years. And I've even hired 2 people 3 times. So I have gifted them. Their career in the last 15 years has been from me. And it just feels so good knowing that I've done that. So I love the career coaching that I help with, because if I've looked at that many resumes, imagine how many I've deleted. And so people are really appreciating my career coaching, because it's not only the resume, it's the interview. And I like a story. I want you to share with me a story. I always ask, why should I hire you? Well, because I'm a good person and I'm a people person and I don't know when to quit, and, bad story. There's two things any hiring manager is thinking. One is, how quickly are you going to be productive and or profitable for me? And two, I want that to be a small window. I don't want to onboard you for many, many months. I would like that to be a couple of months. So that's where in interviews and on the resumes, you need to showcase, and in some, I even call it spoon feed, so that that person reviewing your resume can go, I could see this and this, right? Don't just say APAR. Accurately, pumped out 500 APAR invoices every month and statements, right? Like, you got to add a bit more oomph to your statement on the resumes. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love the recruiting. My hybrid HR model has been getting a lot of interest. So I'm not a staffing firm. I don't want to be a staffing firm. I love being more hands-on and high touch and being completely involved in the recruit. But what people are really liking is I have a flat fee between $3,000 and $15,000, no matter how long it takes to find that person. And so companies are really appreciating knowing that. And I'm still highly, highly involved. Whereas a staffing firm, and there are good ones out there too, but they give you the resumes and you still have to review them. You still have to set the interviews, and then they want their 25% of the first year's annual salary. And that's not happening with me. So as an example, an engineering manager at $130,000, that would cost at a staffing firm $32,500, and with me, $15,000. So there's some huge interests on that side. And what is getting huge interest too is, I call it the fine art of HR leadership training. So leaders, they either go along to get along, or they're micromanagement, but there's a reason why. It's because they have a controlling factor, and it's their inner dialogue that they need to manage and how they need to have faith. Leaders who make decisions based on faith, not as in spirituality, but faith that the decision they're about to make is good and reasonable, and then they can course correct along the way. Those leaders do far better decisions than those that make decisions out of fear. Because they don't want to look bad to their peers and things to that effect, or how are people going to receive me? And so fear-based decisions is not always the best for the business. So I've been teaching, it's still leadership training, and it's applicable with the Alberta government job grant. So it's a 21-hour program, and it's very much one-on-one training, but I do bring in an HR spin to it, because while I could take a leader offline, they still need to go back to their people. And so, leadership is all about people, and human resources is all about people. So it's a really symbiotic handshake that is helping them to be able to have those accountability conversations, and to have the courage and the confidence to be able to be that leader.
Oh, that's awesome. That's, I can see all the value to a company there. So I guess moving forward, what is next for yourself and your company?
Yeah. Well, HR is in my blood. It always has been. I love what I do. Like, it feeds my soul. Like, I feel it's honestly a calling. But because my network is so extensive, I end up meeting different opportunities. And I'm actually helping some companies do a capital raise. So if they're looking for, anywhere from $3 million and up, I've got a number of connections that I'm helping with that. And I just really like to see that company, so it's not a pure startup. They've already got us, be pretty close to making some profit, etc. And to see them take their business to the next level. And then a lot of times they want me to stay involved and help with the leadership training, and ensuring that everybody's in the right seats doing the right work for what they're wired for.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Money is, it's very important. It's out there. It's hard to get. You have to be a good company. Even our Startup TNT Investment Summit starts on Thursday, and obviously it's more geared towards startups and maybe companies that might be at some sort of MVP. Most of the idea companies don't kind of make it through. But most of them, I think the biggest revenue one I saw come through there the last couple of years is, had about $1 million in revenue. So again, very small, but they're at that angel investment side. So money is extremely important. So that's So that's great that you're also out there helping them raise capital, because there are higher end, I don't want to say bigger companies that need a little extra to get to that next level.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing such innovation coming out of Calgary right now. It's we can't waste a terrible downturn and then COVID and not come out with some awesome innovation. So I think that Calgarians are very resilient, Albertans are very resilient, Canadians, and I just think that this is we're gonna all come out better because of this, I'd like to say.
No, I agree. I'm a positive person too, so I definitely have to agree with you.
Yeah, the glass wine, the wine glass is always half full, baby.
Exactly. I totally agree. So I'm always sad when our interviews are coming to a close, but I do, and I mean, I know you have a lot of experience, obviously, in helping businesses and to raising capital. So, if you had one piece of advice for a small business entrepreneur or startup, Patty, what would that be?
Take the shot, take the leap. I never thought I would have two businesses myself. And all I say is just take the shot, talk to people, put good people in your environment, and ditch those naysayers, really, and that might even be family. I'm not saying ditch your family, but you need to isolate yourself from that. So believe in yourself, go for it. I think being an entrepreneur and a business owner is very, very, very rewarding. And I know I work for this phenomenal boss. So if I want to go to a summit, I go to a summit. If I want to go on a course, I go on a course. So it's something that it gives me the freedom that way. So.
Very good advice. I love it. And yeah, I kind of sometimes I get angry at my boss, but
Exactly.
then I just punish him by sending him golfing.
There you go. There's your 9 lashes. I mean, your 9 holes.
Exactly. Well, Patty, I really appreciate the time and for you coming on here, telling it like it is, and sharing your knowledge. And thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. And again, for all the people out there that just remember, you're not alone. It's okay not to be okay. If you need help, please reach out. The hardest step is the first step. To somebody will be there, whether it's myself or Patty or anybody that just reach out to them. And and people are here to listen. So that's something that we really want to stress during this week. We are a very, very collaborative ecosystem, and we want to make sure everybody is healthy and okay. So, and I know, Patty, you'll agree with me on that.
Absolutely. If anybody wants to reach out to me to just have a shoulder and to help with perspective and and challenge you and gently cheer you up, then that's what my goal is too.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, Patty, enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate again you spending time with us, and I hope everybody has a great day, and we will see you next week.
Great. Thank you,
Okay.
Jay.